Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a discussion video for you. Today I would like to share with you and talk with you about why all of us love pocket jewelry. Now, some of you may be hearing that going, whoa, 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 don't include me in that, but I'm going to include you in that because you're watching this video. Now, there could be some knife guys out there that, or some knife owners, okay, that are not into pocket jewelry at all. But I would submit to you, if you're like me, if you are watching this channel on a regular basis, okay, you like pocket jewelry. Okay, now, let me first get a little bit of background here. The other day, I asked over on the Sharp Stuff Facebook page, as well as on Canadian Knife and Gear, what constitutes pocket jewelry? What is it that makes a knife pocket jewelry? And I got a couple of different responses. Primarily, the responses revolved around two things, let's say, materials and price. And I think I get it from both perspectives. I think on price, people are thinking, and some people actually said this, a knife that's too expensive for you to feel comfortable using is pocket jewelry. All right. Now, perhaps then it's just really a safe queen, but I suppose someone could carry a knife around in their pocket and they're not really comfortable getting it out and cutting stuff with it. Seems strange to me, but I'm sure it happens. The other side of that would be, you know, a material that, again, is too fragile or too slippery, or maybe it even hampers the functioning of the knife in some way, but you like that material so much so you add it to your knife. And I think that's probably part of the discussion. But I think both of those are maybe a little bit too specific. So I want to submit to you my definition of pocket jewelry. And I've given this quite a bit of thought, and I'm going to try to convince you. So I'd love to hear whether or not you agree with me down below. Let's go ahead and have a little bit of a debate if you want to down in the comments. But I would submit to you that a knife is pocket jewelry if it has any features, any materials that do not directly relate to the proper functioning of the knife. Okay, let me say that one more time. A knife is pocket jewelry if it has any features or materials that don't contribute directly to the functioning of the knife. And you bought it not purely because you just wanted a cutting tool. All right, I'm sure there are some people out there who buy a knife just because they want a cutting tool. But I doubt most of those people are watching this video, okay, or any knife videos. They just walk into the hardware store, go, yeah, this seems to have a blade on it, good enough, right? And when that one's no good anymore, they pitch it and get a different one. But if you're into knives at all right, and if you've bought knives, especially online, you know, look, let me ask you about the car you drive. Let's move ahead, go to a different discussion for a second. The car that you drive, I am certain that you did not buy that car just because, hey, I need 4 wheels to get me from point A to point B, right? You liked the way it looked. You liked the features it had. You liked the leather seats or the heated seats or the leather wrapped steering wheel, or you liked the cool lines that it had, whatever, right? You bought it for more than just functionality. All right, and if you've bought a knife, especially if you've bought it online, you know, maybe you were looking at 3, 4, 5 different knives, you probably bought the one that you liked the looks of the best. All right, now maybe some had some glaring issue and you went and watched a few reviews and you're like, oh man, the blade falls off of this one every time you open it. Don't buy that one. But outside of, you know, outside of something like that, you probably bought the knife that you thought looked really cool. Okay, so you have to at least admit that there's a part of that which is you wanting pocket jewelry. All right, consider one of the least pocket jewelry knives I own. This is the Recon One. It is all practicality, all right, nearly all practicality. But this particular one has a satin blade, which I like way better than the black blade. It has a triad lock, which I like better than a lot of other locks. Do I need a triad lock? No. Okay. This is a fantastic knife, an absolutely, you know, highly recommended, totally awesome cutting tool. No debate about that whatsoever. But did I just buy it for its prowess as a cutting tool? No, I like the clip point blade. I like the blade finish. I like the overall shape. I like the way it looks. All right, so even the Recon One for me, to a certain extent, is pocket jewelry. All right. Now, let me throw in a couple of other knives here. And this, you know, here's a perfect example. This is certainly a little more pocket jewelry than some others. Let's see, what else have we got here? pocket jewelry. Yeah, sure it is. I accept that accusation. So let me say here, guys, I love pocket jewelry. Okay, that's part of what draws me to really cool knives. I love it when a knife has a floating backspacer and dual row ceramic bearings, or better yet, roller bearings. I like it when it has really intricate details like this. I like it when it has anodization. Hold on, let's move this guy out of the way. I like it when it has anodization and a really awesome stonewash, which this has in spades. I mean, look how well done that is. Okay, that's absolutely one of the reasons I bought this knife and one of the reasons I enjoy it. Okay, there's no question. I like it when a knife has a fantastic action. Okay, I like it when it has an interesting design and it's doing something a little different. By the way, this Kaiser Milner, I'd be willing to part with it. So if someone wants it, I'll let it go pretty cheap. Let's do like, I don't know, 140 US. Anyway, if someone wants it, send me a message. Do I like this knife just because it's a functional cutting tool? No, I like a lot of things about it. I like the way it feels in hand. I like the action. I like the fact that it's different than most of the knives that you see out there. Okay, there are a lot of things that draw me to this. There are a lot of things that I appreciate about knives outside of their cutting performance. Now, do I want a knife to cut stuff? Absolutely. And can a knife go too far? Right? Here's a knife that maybe challenges that a little bit. I actually find Rat 1s to be a little bit ugly. This one, though, does have carbon fiber, so I think it still qualifies as pocket jewelry. All right. So let me ask a couple of questions here, all right? I'd love to have you weigh down in the comments down below, because the first thing I want to say about this is pocket jewelry is not just for people who spend, you know, $100, $200, $300, $400, $500 on knives. It isn't. It's for everybody. There are tons of Bokers and CRKTs and Kershaws and ZTs and, you know, a bunch of stuff in between that, steel wills that are pocket jewelry. All right, so down below, I'd love you to list some of those. Some knives that you absolutely love. They don't have to be expensive. If it's expensive, that's fine too. But knives that you think are just great knives because of some cool feature they have or because of a particular way the blade is done. All kinds of different things that really, you know, they don't contribute all that much to it being a good cutting tool, but they sure make the knife really, really awesome. Because I'm sure there's lots of people watching this who would benefit from that. They go, yeah, I want to know about that. I'll maybe go out and buy one of those knives or two of those knives or whatever. All right. So that's the first thing I like to say. What is your favorite sort of special feature? What is that thing about a knife that you really get excited about, even though it doesn't really contribute all that much to the functionality of the knife? All right. And so that's my overall argument. Now, let me add something further though. Is it possible to go too far with this? Absolutely. And knives have gone too far with this, and knives have regularly sacrificed function for form, and I think that's a really bad idea. Okay, I don't want a knife to do that. Now, unless it's an art knife, okay, and that's a different category. That's a knife that is not, from its very conception, it was not meant to be an effective cutting tool, or if it was, it would just be by accident. It's primarily designed to look a certain way. All right, so we're not talking about that. But yes, you can go too far. And in fact, some knives are too fancy for me. A lot of custom knife makers will have what they call a full dress model. And often when I look at that, I kind of go, okay, that's too much, right? It looks like the midway at a fair rather than a folding knife, okay? You know, a good example would be the Hinderer geared clip. Right, that is too much. Anything from Steel Flame, again, is too much. All right, and you know, a certain amount of accoutrement, a certain amount of fancy stuff, upgrading your knife with some Damascus or Mokutai or something. Hey, go nuts! All right. And in fact, in a lot of cases, I really, really like it. And by the way, in somebody else's collection, okay, I love it. For example, I'm going to pick on Dr. Frunke here. And if you're not subscribed to Dr. Frunke, you really ought to check him out. He's got some really, really nice knives, and he does a great job reviewing them. Some guys who get what would you say, more expensive stuff, they're so blinded by the price that they have a hard time making a valid assessment of the knife. But Dr. Funky does a pretty good job. Okay, so yeah, go and check out his channel. But he has a lot of knives that I think are beautiful. His Shamwari is one of the most beautiful knives that I have ever seen. I wouldn't personally want to own it. All right, no offense, Doc. I love it. I'm glad you enjoy it, but I wouldn't want to own it. Okay, even his Koenig Arius, if I had my own Koenig Arius, I wouldn't spec it the way that he did. And that's fine. We have different preferences, but both of us like pocket jewelry, and I think you do too. And that's the main argument I'm trying to make here. Yes, it can go too far. All right, and yes, sometimes it can get in the way of functionality, but most of the time, it just further accentuates our joy that we find in the knife. All right, it just adds to the enjoyment that we get from a really well-made tool. You know, does it need to have roller bearings? No. Does it need to have a bronze anna with a stonewash? No. But man, it's really cool when it does, okay? So guys, that's my discussion of pocket jewelry. I think we sometimes use the term in a derogatory way or an accusatory way where we're saying to that person, you know, you don't really use your knives, when, number one, we don't know that. Okay, I've had knives, I've had custom knives here for review that when I get them out of the box, I'm like, man, this guy uses and carries this knife. In fact, I've had custom knives come where they're dirtier and more beat up than I would ever let a knife that cost half that much get, okay? Just because it may be pocket jewelry to you, or just because you may accuse someone else of not thinking very practically about their knife purchase, okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not guilty of the same thing. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. I hope it brings some perspective to it, because I think, you know, we really need to be honest with ourselves as a knife community and as knife enthusiasts. And the fact is, if you're a knife enthusiast, you like pocket jewelry. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.